love bugs. The team at Bob and Brad have sent me their new Zero Pro Eye Massager. Is a real massager for real relief. Now, I don't often take things like this or do sponsorships, as I'm sure you haven't seen that much on my YouTube channel, but I really liked their message and the reason that they reached out to me, which was because I am a streamer, because I am a gamer, because I am on my computer looking at screens with lights in my face most of my day, multiple days a week. And not only that, like I am also someone who suffers from not getting very good sleep. So I have incredibly puffy eyes all of the time that I'm constantly complaining about. And they really thought that this is something that would truly help me. But more importantly, I told them the only way that I would take it would be if I could actually give an honest review, and they are 100% for it. They want to know how their product works for people like me. So that is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend several days trying this out, seeing how I feel about how it gives relief for headaches, how it gives relief for puffiness in my face. I want to try both the heating and the cooling to see how that affects different kinds of headaches that I get, as I am someone who is prone to headaches. And I am really excited about this, but I'm only going to give an honest review, you guys. So let's get to it. Right off the bat, I do really like that there's a quick guide, that it's going to help you get into the massager a little bit quicker. I do think it's important to read these whole guides, but we just have to be honest, like as consumers and like when we're making something for consumers, not everyone is going to sit down and read this entire thing. It's going to be overwhelming sometimes, but having to just read an insert to get like the basics started will sometimes, if the product is good, get you to then read the rest of this to make sure you're getting the most out of it. So a nice little quick guide here on how to get started, and then also some tips on how to maximize your comfort and use the gel mask. Inside the box, it has its own little box. Oh, do I have to do that thing? Maybe this way. Ah, satisfying. But I do like that it does have like a true carrying case. That's very nice. Obviously right now it's all packaged up in here for coming to me as inside of its box for the very first time. So there's going to be steps to, I'm sure, unpacking everything. It's, you know, the whole thing feels really heavy, but by the time you get through the box and then through its own like holder and down to the actual device, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. Oh, okay. This is the gel mask. Oh, it even feels cool right now. Nice. Very nice. This is our charger. And then our mask itself. I did not realize it was going to have that break in the center. I also really like that because sometimes having something laying on my face like that, I can feel kind of claustrophobic. It feels kind of suffocating. I like that it has that capability of movement. It just seems like it's going to make it even more comfortable. And there is also a sticker on here and then a button. It looks like with some instructions. So scroll type 1 button controls, which is nice. So it looks like you can change the volume and stuff if you're listening to music. You have your charger there. Wow, I am really excited to test this out. I mean, upon first impression, it's beautiful. It's packaged beautifully. It does not seem cheap. It seems like an expensive piece of professional equipment. I am impressed by the overall packaging and whatnot so far, but obviously that only takes us so far. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So it's time for me to spend many days testing, and then I'll be back. Movie magic. Friends, I am not kidding when I say this thing is my new best friend. Ugh. Let's talk about it. Just a reminder that, yeah, this video is sponsored, but they literally just paid me in a free massager. If you guys go and buy this, it does nothing for me. I am going to give you 100% my honest review about this product. And it's really, 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 really good. Not only am I obsessed with it, but my grandmother wants to steal it from me. At the very first time that she used it, she was like, my main complaint is that it doesn't cover every single itch of my body. Very truthfully, y'all, everything that they claimed that it could maybe do for gamers, help with eye fatigue, help with my headaches, even just like anxiety and stress. Like I have to say, like putting it on and with the music playing, there's something so nice about just being completely shut in the darkness, but with something like touching, rubbing your temples, rubbing your face, like the way that it just relaxes your whole body. I'm going to tell you a true story of it. My Grammy was having a rough morning one morning and I was like, do you want me to set you up with the massager? Do you want to use the massager for a little bit? And she was like, yes. And when I tell you, she like jogs on over to the couch. She like fluffs up a bunch of pillows, arranges them into like a little cocoon for herself, grabs her blanket, sits down. I'm just standing there, just holding it, like, okay. And she like wraps herself all up in her blanket. And then she's like, I was like, I'm gonna set you up with it. I'm gonna go take a shower. And then whenever you're done with it, just put it on the table. I went and took a nice long shower. I washed my hair. I did the whole thing. I came out. She was still sitting on the couch, cocooned, like in heaven. And I was like, do you want to just use it some more? She was like, I'm so relaxed. Like I can't tell you how this has like overtaken my house. It really, really, really has. I think that the pressure is good. I like that the strap obviously is adjustable. So if you like the little bit of more pressure, that you can make it a little bit tighter. And if you like a little less pressure, you can make it less tight. So you feel like you have control over it. I like the heat option. I used the cooling option actually for the very first time today. And I really liked having the cooling pad as well. I will say though, while I do think that it removed like some puffiness and stuff from my eyes, I would say it's about the same as wearing an eye mask. I don't think that this made any less puffiness than just wearing an eye mask for 20 minutes. But it did feel really nice. And it was a nice thing to do like before I went and like did my skincare and stuff like that as well. I had one day that I had the starting of a headache that can sometimes turn into a migraine for me. And so I did all of the usual things that I would do to try and prevent that from happening, but also added this in and used it on its heat cycle. And the headache never got worse. It went away kind of typically like it would if all of my tricks worked. So I can't say that this helped, but it certainly didn't hurt. It certainly felt wonderful. It made my face feel better. It definitely broke up any tension. Like I would feel like the tension headaches that you get from like stress and anxiety, this definitely feels like it helps to help those subside. Migraines, if you have migraines, you know how it is. You know how it is. Sometimes one day something helps and the next day it doesn't, depending on the type of migraine and the symptoms that you're having. Is it light sensitive? Is it sound? Are you sound sensitive? It's going to depend on the migraine. We all know if this was a miracle worker for migraines, then they would have sold 100 million of them. Migraines are finicky. It might work for yours. It might not. That's just the truth. I also want to point out that the entire time that I was testing this, for some reason, I thought that it was a different price than it was. The whole time that I've been testing it and that I've had grandma testing it, I had double the price point that it actually costs in my head. I thought this was like a $200 massager and it's a $100 massager. And I wasn't trying to think like, is this worth $200? And y'all, I was leaning towards yes at that price point. So seeing that it's even less than that. And right now at the time that I'm making this video, it's actually on sale for $79.99. I cannot express to you guys how much I love this, that my grandmother is going through every single one of their other products and deciding what our next one is going to be. That not only have I enjoyed reviewing it like as a content creator, like they have made a new person who is like a new customer that is going to be shopping from them because I love this and I want the same kind of technology on my shoulders and on my back and on my legs. Like I am so impressed by it. And I've had a lot of massagers in my life and I've had a couple of good ones. I've had a couple bad ones. I've had some that I've had for years that I like for particular spots on my body. But if I could get this over my whole body, I don't think I would ever need to buy another massager. And I really, really mean that. But that being said, I do want to just point out like one thing that we talked about a bit in my community was that some people cannot use this product. So please, if you are someone who's had LASIK or has any other kind of eye issues, make sure that you check with your doctor before you go and purchase this and go to use it. Make sure that you read all the fine print. This is something that is massaging your eyes. That obviously eyes are very important to me. I've only got one good one. So make sure you read all that fine print and make sure that it's actually right for you. Now, what would I do to make it better? Because while I do think it's really great and I mean, again, glowing review, I love it. I do think that there are a couple of things that I would do to make it even better for maybe the next model. Firstly, while you can clean this pretty easily, and I do recommend, especially if you're going to be sharing it among your family, making sure you're using alcohol wipes or something to clean this off, I do wish that it was somehow removable to really get a good clean without having any risk of getting it on the electronics, and that they had some really like good cleaning instructions for keeping it really, really nice, which would also give you the option that if this eventually does start to wear out, which I could see happening, mine obviously hasn't, but that I could see happening, that you could just buy that replacement piece, or even get an eyepiece for each member of your family, so you're not risking sharing those like sharing eye diseases and things among each other. That's how pink eye gets spread. So please make sure, if you are sharing it with other people, if you don't have the funds to go around and buy it for every single person in your family, that you are at least using an alcohol wipe or something like that on it in between each person's use. The other thing that I would upgrade inside of it is the speaker. The speaker there to play the music and whatnot. Sometimes it gets a little bit like buzzy. It might be because it's loose or something inside. It might just be a little loose in my particular headset. But sometimes that also has to do with like the quality of the speaker that they're using. Obviously, they don't want to make it anything that's too bulky or anything that's too expensive, because then it's going to incredibly increase the cost of this. And obviously, we don't want that. But I did notice it was a little buzzy sometimes when playing the music, and it kind of took me out of the moment a couple times when it hit a couple of the notes. So I ended up using my own music for most of it. But I will say my grandmother did not have the same complaint, and she listens to the music every time and she loves it. So it might just be me being picky about audio stuff because of what I do. But that's my honest review, okay? My very last critique is actually for the case. And this is incredibly, incredibly picky, but it just seems like such a small design thing to not have when this is made so well. Obviously, this fits really nicely in here. You can even fold the cold pad and fit it inside as well. You can also fit the charger in here. It will fit like down in the center or on the side, but the problem is that then the charger's kind of loose in there. So sometimes when I was pulling it out, the charger ends up falling and stuff like that. And I found that like a little bit bothersome. If you guys put a piece of netting like right here, just to create a little pocket to slide the charging cable, and even like a little, like to be able to fit like a brick for a wall too, in order to charge it. And then I could truly, like on the go, on a vacation, take this with me for when I'm like doing conventions and stuff like that, and doing like all of those huge events, to sit at the end of the night and de-stress and use this and not have like a cable falling out every time I'm pulling it out and risking losing it. It's a small thing, but it's also just one of those like travel things that I really think about as somebody who travels and goes to conventions and does that because of my job. Again, those were incredibly nitpicky little things, but I wanted to give you guys my honest review. I still give this a 10 out of 10. Even with those couple of things, they would just make it even better, in my opinion. I very truly am going to be getting this as a holiday gift for several of my family members and my friends, because I think that it is something incredibly valuable, particularly for gamers or people who have jobs where they are sitting in bright lights or in front of a computer all day long. And if you find yourself suffering from eye fatigue and from headaches, I really do think that this is a product that could help you with that. Thank you, Bob and Brad, for introducing me to your product. You truly did knock it out of the park. And I totally see now why you were so confident in telling me to go ahead and give the most honest review that I wanted to regardless. There is a product link down below. There's also a code on the screen right now that y'all can use for 10% off. But I think the deal that's going on right now is actually better than the one that they gave me. So make sure that you're getting the best discount possible. But I am incredibly impressed and feel fully confident in telling you all that this is an absolutely excellent product, and that what it says it can do, it did for me. Okay, I love you. Bye-bye.